Hey guys, hope you've had a great week. Before we get into our recap, I wanted to make sure I mentioned this announcement that our Sponsor a Student campaign is happening right now. This is our annual commitment to help provide kids in need in our community with school supplies. So we have a goal of raising $15,000 as a church this year, and we could really use small groups' help in reaching that goal. And so wanted you to remind your group about that. And then if y'all want, you could think together even as a group. Maybe you could have a goal as a small group to help contribute to this. So anyways, just wanted to mention that. This week we continued our series, A Shared Gospel. We looked at a woman named Lydia. As I mentioned, Lydia is a little different than the other characters we're looking at this summer. She didn't travel with Paul. She didn't spend time with him in various different places, but she was very instrumental, really the founding member of the church in Philippi, which was probably the church that Paul had the most affection for. They seemed to be a church that really was grounded and doing it well, doing it right. So Lydia was a big part of that. The big ideas this week were that Lydia, we were introduced to her in Acts chapter 16. She's the first convert to Christianity in Europe. She was most likely a wealthy businesswoman who heard the gospel from the Apostle Paul, and then she responded immediately to that. She had an open heart. She was open to what God wanted to do in and through her. She had an open home, so she practiced regular hospitality, and then she lived life with open hands. She was very generous with what God had richly blessed her with. So we can learn a lot from Lydia about how to respond to the gospel and then how to live life in light of that. The questions this week, obviously the first two are the same. What was most interesting or encouraging to you this week from the sermon? And then what was most challenging or raised some further questions for you? Question 3. So I mentioned that Lydia had an open heart. That was kind of one of my first points. So I realized that Acts 16, verse 14, where we are introduced to Lydia, it says that the Lord opened her heart. So with that in mind, are there some things that we can do to sort of prepare or position our heart to be more open to God or to the things of God or to what God may want to do in our lives? I know to a certain degree, God opens our hearts, but what can we do to prepare or position ourselves to better hear from Him? And then I have it as question 4. It's really a series of questions that all have to do with hospitality, all right? So first of all, think through some specific ways to practice hospitality. You can just brainstorm together as a group. You can make a list if you want. What are some specific or tangible ways that you have seen hospitality practiced or that you could practice hospitality, all right? Then take a look at that list and make it more personal. So in what of those ways do you practice hospitality regularly in your life, all right? Try to identify some ways that you tend to practice hospitality. Another question is, are you someone that enjoys practicing hospitality toward others? I don't know, maybe if that's a certain type of person or a personality that people have where they tend to enjoy hospitality. Some people seem to be really, really good at it. It sort of comes natural. And for others, it's maybe more of a struggle. So where do you fall in that? And then finally, what can you do, or maybe you can discuss this as a group, what can we do to be better at practicing hospitality towards outsiders, towards others, all right? So again, the big idea, Lydia really shows us a lot about what it means to respond to the gospel with an open heart, an open home or hospitality, and then open hands, just being generous with what God blesses us with, all right? I'll see y'all next Sunday. Hope you have a great week.